Hi friends! Well, it is the end of the first week of April, and I have a lot to do today in a short amount of time. So I'm going to take some of my seeds that I saved last year from my garden and plant these behind me in this little area of my garden. So I'm going to plant either cosmos, zinnias, and sunflowers, or just two of those. I'll see. I'll decide in a few minutes. But one thing I was going to say is last year I planted, well, I have some perennials growing right here. I'll show you in a minute. But behind that is where I'm going to plant my seeds. And last year I didn't plant anything directly behind this little area, and there was too much shade, so there was really kind of like this gap where nothing really could grow because it couldn't get enough sunlight. So since the perennials behind me are blooming or they're growing and getting ready to get bigger now that the days are warmer, I need to go ahead and plant something right there before it gets too shaded, and then nothing will grow in that area. Also, I will see how much time I have, but I will try to go and give a few little garden updates on things that I have shared in previous videos in March, of a couple things that I have planted and things that are coming back. And so I am going to not waste any more time talking and just get started on what I need to do today. So first, quick little update. I have been sharing in the past several videos that I had a lot of crimson clover. I'll try to add a photo or a video of those. I had to go ahead and remove those. They had gotten pretty big, but we keep having storms, and every time we have a storm they just get flattened out, and they were really heavy. I hated to remove those, but I'm gonna have to clean this area out to get it ready to plant anyway. So that is just one thing I wanted to mention. Right here is the little area behind me that I was talking about. This is a little area that I planted. I actually planted all of these right here in the fall of 2023. These are Shasta daisies. They are perennials, so when I planted them from seed, I didn't really realize that they weren't going to bloom. I discovered that later. If you plant them from seed, they don't bloom till the next year. So it has been over a year, and this whole little section of Shasta daisies is getting ready to bloom for the first time. So I am pretty happy about that. Since these are seeds that I saved, I don't know how they're going to do. I have planted seeds that I saved before last year in another area, and they did okay. They did pretty well. But these are seeds that I saved from floret zinnias, so I have a lot of those. Just some yellow sunflowers. I don't remember what kind. I get kind of lazy about labeling. And then I have some like cosmos. So since I don't know which floret these are, I had 2 different kinds last year. Also, you know, I learned this in the last year or two. Whatever I planted last year, it's going to get cross-pollinated by other bees or, you know, butterflies, whatever. So it's not going to come back and be the exact same variety as it was. So it'll be a surprise. So I just have lots of little floret zinnias, and so I'll just pick a couple of those. I mean, like this one says floret fluffy. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. I just collected one, stuck them in there. Floret zinnias, yellow sunflowers, floret with petals. Don't know what that means. Like I said, I just get kind of, as long as it says what it basically is, that's all that matters to me. And you know, these are free seeds from last year. So I'm gonna add some soil back here in a second. The other thing I wanted to say was, last year was my first year using leaf mulch from the year before. So I added leaf mulch in the fall to all 4 beds. Well, last spring, I saw, you know, a snake, which it was a king snake, which is not harmful. It's still unsettling for me to have a snake in my backyard. Also, you know, it went on its way, but I discovered that the leaf mulch becomes like a bed for baby snakes. So I just went through and kind of moved around the leaves to make sure there are no baby snakes back here. And I've learned to start kind of going around the garden and turning over each of the little wooden like borders. And sometimes I'll find a baby snake and then I'll just take it, put it in a shovel and take it somewhere else and just get it out of my backyard. So anyway, the one that I did find in my backyard apparently will eat the venomous snake. So it's a little challenging to just be, you know, I don't want to kill it, but just seeing them in the backyard, I just try to hope that they scoot themselves away. Oh, also one more thing. I use Snake Away, which I don't know if it works, but it's just like a deterrent, and I will sprinkle it around the border of my fence in my backyard, and I need to do that. I haven't done that yet this year. So anyway, I'm going to put this soil down and then figure out which ones of these I'm going to plant. This may not be something that's like super obvious, but if you have taller flowers, like back here, I would plant the tallest flowers in the back, because I have made the mistake of, or even say I had some tall flowers, sunflowers, and they were done. So I had to cut them down. I tried to replant something in their spot, but something was in front of it. They didn't get enough sun, and it never really fully grew to the size it was supposed to grow throughout the season. So I would plant the tallest flowers in the very back and kind of come forward to whatever is going to be the lowest or shortest flowers in the front of the bed, unless they all got full sun all day, and they don't. So So I've got my seeds here. I'll just do floret with petal, floret fluffy, floret with petal, flora zinnias. Let's see, do a cosmos. I plan to order some cosmos, so I don't want to, focus too much on those. And then I have these. I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off and plant these. I'm going to plant these in the back because these are going to be taller, and I don't want to plant these yet because sunflowers grow pretty fast. One more thing, I'm going to take my rake here and draw like a line, and then I'll kind of have rows. I'm not going to plant them in the rows. I'm going to plant them in the, sections, each section. That way I kind of have like rows of flowers, but they get pretty big, so it won't look like rows of flowers, but that way I kind of will have just a line to come back when I come to check these to see if anything's germinating. I'll know where I planted it. Just to explain what I did real quick, back here, I just sprinkled the seeds out. I didn't really try to make it really neat or anything like that because they're free seeds. I didn't have to worry about wasting money if they don't germinate. So I just spread all the seeds out, then I just kind of patted them down in the soil. It depends on what kind of seeds you're planting, but I know with zinnias and cosmos, they do need to be covered some with soil, but not like super deep. So now I'm just going to water those in, and then just try to do a couple other little things for today. So other little garden updates, I'll do this side first. I have a black-eyed Susan growing right here in the middle of the grass. It reseeded itself here. There are several others, but that one, we're just trying to leave it alone just to see if it will actually grow. I pulled up all of the crimson clover. I already mentioned that. Right here I have some carrots, and they have started to get kind of big since the weather has warmed up. So I'm gonna leave those alone for a little while before I pull those up. The new area that I planted, and then I wanted to give a little update on the dahlias that I planted from seed. I planted these 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're doing pretty good. I probably should have done one per little pot, but I didn't. Anyway, these I planted I think 2 weeks ago, and I think all of them are coming up except for this one and this one, so I can plant another one in there. I have a few left. Those are the floret dahlia seeds from last year. They're not selling those this year, but I saved one pack, and this is my last little patch in the back of crimson clover. I have seen a few bees on these, and they really like them, so I hated to pull the other ones, but I had to. Also, snakes, it's another place for snakes to hide in my backyard, and I don't need that. So another little thing, if you have not watched any of my other videos, I dug this out, planted an elephant ear here, and there's one right here. So you know, those can take weeks to start to grow, and it's probably not warm enough. So anyway, that's the last thing I have to update on this side. So